He's still there, Daddy. He's waiting for the next ones.
Week 1. The Calloways are happy. Daniel, the father, is a contractor. He's used to old houses. He loves old houses. The creaks and groans of a Victorian, to him, that's character. His wife, Rachel, is a high school English teacher. She fills the shelves with books and calls it home within 48 hours. And Mara, little Mara, she picks the bedroom at the end of the hall, the one with the bay window, the one that looks out over the backyard, where the oak tree grows so close to the glass, its branches scrape the pane on windy nights. By day 3, the doors start doing something strange. Not all of them, just some of them. Daniel checks the hinges, he checks the frames, he rehangs 2 of them. The doors keep opening anyway. Always just ajar. Never fully open. Never fully closed. Like the house is listening.
And then there are the cold spots. Not drafts. Daniel knows drafts. He's sealed more old houses than he can count. These are different. Pockets of cold, standing still in the middle of a room. One at the base of the staircase, one at the entrance to the basement, one in the corner of Mara's bedroom. Rachel jokes about it. She calls them the house's personality. She lights candles. She buys a rug for the staircase landing. The cold spot doesn't move. It waits.
Week 4. A Tuesday evening. Rachel is grading papers at the kitchen table. Daniel is downstairs replacing a section of baseboard. Mara is in her room, and she is talking. Rachel figures it's a stuffed animal, an imaginary friend. Kids do this. She goes upstairs. She pushes the door open, just ajar, and she listens. She asks Mara who she's talking to. Mara doesn't miss a beat. She points, and Rachel will describe this moment for years. She points at the corner of the room, the corner where the cold spot lives. And she says, "The man in the corner. He's sad because no one talks to him anymore." Rachel does what most parents do. She smiles. She tells Mara it's time for dinner. That night, she mentions it to Daniel, and they share a look across the table. The look that means, we'll monitor this. But here is what they don't notice. Mara's drawings change. For 2 weeks, they are houses, suns, horses, normal 7-year-old art. Then they are something else. A room. A corner. A tall, dark shape with no features. Just a presence. And in every single drawing, the door is ajar. Month 3. November. The nights get long. Daniel starts sleepwalking. He has never done this before in his life. Not once. Rachel first notices it on a Wednesday. She wakes at 2 a.m. to an empty bed and follows the sound of footsteps to find him standing at the basement door, eyes open, completely asleep, hand on the knob. She leads him back to bed. He remembers nothing. It happens again and again. Always the same time. Always the same destination. On the 8th night, Rachel decides not to redirect him. She follows him.
Daniel walks down those basement steps with the practiced confidence of a man who knows every creak, every board. He crosses the basement floor. He stops at the far wall. He puts both hands flat against the plaster. He stands there for 4 minutes and 30 seconds. Rachel times it on her phone. And then he turns around and walks back upstairs and gets into bed. In the morning, Rachel examines that wall. The plaster is newer than the rest, patched. The patch is old, decades old, but it was done after the original construction. Something was put behind that wall, or something was sealed in. Daniel doesn't believe her. He says the house is just old. He says he'll look into it. He doesn't look into it.
Month 6. February. Rachel is cleaning out the crawl space above the master bedroom when she finds the box. It is a tin box sealed with a rusted latch. Inside, 3 journals. The earliest entry is dated March 4th, 1887. The journals belong to a woman named Eleanor Voss. She moved into the house with her husband, Thomas, and their daughter, Clara. Rachel sits down on the crawlspace floor, and she begins to read. The doors won't stay closed. There are cold spots that Thomas says are drafts, but Eleanor knows better. Clara has begun speaking to someone in the corner of her room. A man, she says. A sad man. And Thomas? Thomas has started walking in his sleep, always to the basement, always the far wall. Rachel reads all 3 journals in a single sitting. Her hands are shaking by the end. The Voss family left this house in September of 1887. Eleanor's final entry reads, "We are leaving. I cannot save this house, and I cannot let this house take my family. God willing, whoever comes after us will read these words in time. Leave. Leave before the 6th month ends. After that, it does not let go." Rachel looked at the date on that final entry. Then she looked at the calendar on her phone. They were in month 6, day 22. The Calloways were packed and in a hotel by midnight. They never went back inside. Daniel refused to discuss it. He told people the house had structural issues. Rachel told no one anything. Not for a long time. Mara stopped drawing the corner figure the morning they left. She never mentioned the man again. When Rachel once carefully asked her about him, Mara looked at her blankly. "What man, Mommy?" They sold the house 4 months later. Rachel wanted to disclose what they'd found. She wanted to leave the journals for the new owners. Her realtor talked her out of it. There was no proof of anything. It was an old house. The journals were written by a woman who, by the look of her final entries, was clearly unwell. 13 months after the Calloways moved out, Rachel's phone rang. Unknown number. She almost didn't answer. On the other end, a woman's voice. Confused. A little frightened. She explained that she had found Rachel's name in some paperwork connected to a property, that she and her family had moved in 8 months ago, that things had been strange, that their daughter had started talking to someone she called the man in the corner, that her husband had started walking in his sleep, and that she was calling because she had just found, in a crawl space above the master bedroom, a tin box, and inside that box, 3 journals, and what appeared to be a 4th, newer,
written in Rachel's own hand. Rachel had never written a journal in her life.
The house on Aldermere Street is still there. It's still occupied. Whether the family that called Rachel ever got out, I genuinely don't know. What I do know is that some places don't haunt people because they're evil. They haunt people because they're hungry. If this story made the hair on the back of your neck stand up,